All right, my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about this 5080 leak that people are like starting to talk about. This price being like $1,500 for a 5080, and I'm like, oh no, dude, no way. So I mean, like, guys, I pretty much had was talking about this earlier in like before all of this stuff started coming out, before everybody started running wild with these leaks over the 5080 and stuff. But you know, first of all, let's go back before we even get into the whole 5080 ridiculous pricing. Let's go back and let's talk about the new RX 70 9070 XT. Let's talk about this, okay? Because the leaks are saying that this is going to be the top end card for the AMD RDNA 4 stack, okay? So let's look at this realistically. And just like every year or every couple of years before these AMD cards come out, they start to like really overhype that they're going to be really powerful, they're going to be really cheap, automatically out of the gate setting people's expectations pretty freaking high or unrealistic for what AMD GPUs are going to be. Now we can sit and argue until we're blue in the face that yeah, that's what AMD should do. They should be powerful. They should be able to do, you know, 4080 power with 4080 ray tracing or whatever. Like we can all decide. I mean, we can all agree that yeah, maybe AMD should really focus on more power or whatnot. But that's not the argument. The argument is everybody starts running wild with this stuff right out of the gate for AMD, just setting these unrealistic expectations. Well, not necessarily unrealistic expectations, but setting these expectations that clearly are not ever going to come to fruition. Just out of like common sense. Like it doesn't, I've only been doing the PC thing for a couple of years, and it really, like I could look at the situation and be like, yeah, right, dude, the AMD cards, if they're only making mid-range, they're not doing that. Like I was pretty close at calling them, you know, in between like 7900 XT and 7900 XTX. But I mean, maybe we're a little bit closer to in between 7900 GRE and up to 7900 XT. That's still basically 7900 XT. You know what I mean? And I could see 9070 AMD's 9070 XT coming out and hitting pretty close to 7900 XT rasterization. I could easily see that, seeing it having better overall ray tracing performance, see it have a better overall freaking, you know, AI upscaler with the ML learning and FSR4. Like I could definitely see this card competing with last gen high-end AMD, you know, cards. Like I could honestly see that happening and be the case, and be more power efficient and be, you know, just better overall rounded RDNA architecture. Like I could easily see that. But I could also see it coming in at like 650. I could also see it coming in right around the $650 price range. If that's the case, if it's like 7900 XT power, I could easily see them launching at $649. I could also easily see them launching at $499. I could see it either way. But I also understand and know that AMD is a freaking company that needs to make money. And they're not in the business of, like, they're not really in the business of, like, providing freaking, you know, what is it, charity? They're not in the business of providing charity just because big bad Nvidia's taking advantage of you. I personally am an AMD fan, so I believe that the AMD architecture of RDNA 4, I believe that the Adrenalin software and the feature set that AMD brings to the table is more than worth the money that they're asking for, especially when compared to the Nvidia GPUs. I just feel like you get a better overall package. I don't feel like AMD cuts the corners. You know, I feel like their GPUs, and I've tested 7600 XT all the way to 7900 XTX, and I've seen a consistent experience across the board. You know, like you can use all the same features on their base cards as their top end cards in proportion to the freaking price range of the card. Unlike with Nvidia GPUs, like say you get a 4060 Ti and you can't use the path tracing or any of that kind of stuff, you know, but then with the 4070 you can on certain games, where the 4080, no, like you can use all AMD features across the board. Like that's one thing that I absolutely checked and like really was like, okay, I want to see how this performs. Can I use this feature, and this feature in conjunction with the same that I'd be using on this GPU? And does it, you know, scale, does it scale? Like, is it good? Can I actually use the feature at the same settings level, proportionate to the GPU at the resolution? And yes, like I can use those AMD features, whereas with Nvidia, it's not always the case. You can't always use all features of Nvidia with those GPUs, unless you accept the cold hard truth that the 4060 is basically at a 50 level where a 50 card should be, and the 70s are at the 60, you know, the 60, yeah, the 70s or 60s, the 80s or 70s, and then and then they didn't even make an 80 card. Like they're not doing with the 80 series. They're not making, there's no 320-bit bus card for Nvidia. There's not one. So they're making, you know, a 4090 and then a 70 class card, a 4090 and a 70 class card. The 4080 should be a freaking 70 class card. That is proportionate to what Nvidia's always been, man. So that brings us back to the good old freaking Nvidia 5080, guys. Like, wow, dude, if they're really gonna charge you anywhere from $1,400 to $1,600 for that, that just goes to show you that, like my earlier video, like I'm being serious about this, guys. I'm not taking a pot shot at Nvidia. I'm saying that, look, they're no longer interested in selling these as gaming GPUs. They're more interested in selling them to the AI guys so that the AI teams can buy these cards and utilize them. And, you know, overall for the AI, for AI, those cards are a better buy for the workforce, or for the work, they're just a better buy. They have the VRAM, they have the power, they run CUDA, all of that stuff. Like it just makes more sense. They're going to get more bang for their buck using those for AI than you're ever going to get using these as gaming GPUs, especially how the 5080 appears to be like a cut. They're really cut down, man. They're really cut down. And if you look at it, when you look at like the 5070 Ti, 16 gigs, you know, 690 was something. So it was like maybe 800 like CUDA cores or something. I don't know. I didn't really pay any attention because I was just like, oh gosh, that's atrocious. But that card right there, the 5070 Ti, that thing is borderline professional / gamer. It's like, that's your card if you want top of the line like gaming or whatever at like reasonable, we'll say reasonable prices, but we know that's it. Like that card's going to be probably like $1,100, $1,200, maybe $1,000, maybe $999. Maybe that one comes in at $999 to replace the 4080 Super, and then you've got the 5080, you know, that's coming in at like $1,400 to $1,600, and then you got like your 5070 down that's basically going to be marketed at like, because those are cut down. Those are cut down. Those are significantly more cut down than what you're getting out of the Ti, the 5080, and the freaking 5090. So when you look at that and you look at the new stack and lineup for it, I mean, Nvidia is not dumb. They know that their market share for gamers is in those $500, $600, $700 cards. Only 1-2%, maybe 3 to 5% actually get like the 80 class anyways. So for them, it's like, why make this card cheaper for gamers when we can easily sell these to the AI bros for maximum profit? Like, why would they care? And because the game dudes they're either gonna buy it or they're not. That's the simple truth. You're either gonna buy it or you're not. And so when I look at that and I sit here and I listen to all the Nvidia guys that come and tell me how dumb I am for staying with AMD, I'm just like, guys, Nvidia's been like slowly like boiling you guys for a while now, man. Like they literally keep raising their prices and skimping out more and more and more. They're literally trying to push you into mid-range, lower mid-range, and like move the rest of their stack over to the AI guys, dude. Anything with 16 gigs of VRAM is basically like I've said this before, that's basically like your sweet spot for running large language models locally on your freaking PC. So when you see that, when you see what they're doing, it just kind of makes sense. And like the prices going up like they are, let me make this clear. You're either going to buy it or you're not. It's simple, and they know that. Nvidia already knows that you're either gonna buy it or you're not. And you're just gonna buy something else. And they're like, well, maybe they buy AMD, maybe they don't, whatever. But, you know, and then that just ties back into the argument of people overhyping AMD and then AMD coming out and not meeting those expectations. So then they get to turn around and talk about how AMD is disappointing, which puts a negative sentiment out there for AMD when AMD is just like, look, guys, what are we supposed to do? You overhype us, and then you oversell us, and then we come out and then you get mad at us for like saying, no, man, like we're not gonna fall for it. Like this is our product, this is what we believe it's worth, this is what it costs us to make, manufacture, our research, development, all of this stuff. This is what it costs to feed our families and pay everybody. This is what we have to sell this product at for it to make sense for us, so that we can keep investing in our platform. This is what we have to sell it for. And then they put it out there, and then people badger them and badger them and badger them until they drop the price, and then they finally drop the price, and then they start to sell, and then the cards sell very well, but at a loss. Like AMD's taking a loss because everybody puts that sentiment out there that these are just garbage. I absolutely love my AMD 7900 XTX. It has not let me down at all playing any game I want to play. It is absolutely freaking incredible. So I tell you guys, look, you can believe whatever you want. You can run around with the little nonsense that AMD's just trash, whatever, and like that's cool, man. I'm gonna keep enjoying my AMD experience, like no matter what. Like even if, yeah, like my games run just fine on it. I absolutely love the experience. I'm having a blast. Or you can just keep buying what you're buying, and you'll never know the difference, and nobody will ever be, you'll never be none the wiser. Like I said before in many videos, ignorance is bliss. And you guys have watched me since I've started this channel. I've literally branched out and tried so much different stuff that it's like, what do I have to lose for lying to you guys, man? Like, I get it that everybody just goes with the grain because it is easier. It is easier, significantly easier to just fall in line. It is, trust me. But, man, I like AMD. Why would... There's no reason for me to lie about that. Like, they don't send me anything. I've had to buy every GPU I've bought by myself. And after the recent hack on my channel, I don't think I'd be taking free products from anybody anyways. Even if they did reach out to me, I'd probably just be like, delete, 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 delete. So yeah, guys, it's up to me to be able to, you know, bring you guys honest, fair content. And that's what it is. Like, I feel like there's this thing out there to try to lower the hype or the overall sentiment about AMD every generation, while prop up Nvidia. And man, I don't know. Can they even do that this time? Can they even do that this time with the pricing scheme for Nvidia GPUs? Is that even going to be possible, guys? I don't know, man. That's pretty bad. Like, I get it, bro. Like 40 series, it is what it is. 7000 series RDNA 3, it is what it is. I think the cards competed pretty well. I think they did pretty damn well. I think if you would have went with any of these GPUs this generation, I think you'd have been pretty much happy for the most part throughout the generation. I think you'd have been happy. I think that maybe some of you guys are starting to, you know, with those upper end Nvidia GPUs, I think you're probably starting to see that, like, oh man, yeah, dude, they're definitely going to struggle with the new path tracing games and stuff coming out. I think you could see that. I think that honestly, you're in your head thinking like, oh man, that damn frog's going to be hopping around in here for a very long time, and that's fine, man. Like, it's fine. You don't have to be mad at me. You don't have to, like, I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion that, like, look, bro, I would much rather just not put myself in that. I mean, if you got the money, dude, if you got a job and everything, and you can afford to like upgrade every generation, it doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't even care about what I'm saying. But if you wanted to keep these things and actually like use them long term without having to turn down a bunch of settings and stuff, maybe you think twice. Maybe you look a little bit differently. Maybe you get something that, you know, maybe you don't buy something over the flashy new features, because okay, buyer's guide for Nvidia. You're literally buying a card for last gen games. Like right now, all of the old games that first started with ray tracing are actually really good on the 30 series. You know, like anything that started on the 20 series runs better on the 30 series. Anything that started on the 30 series runs better on the 40 series. So you're like a generation behind. So that means AMD's like 2 generations behind. So yeah, dude, when it comes to ray tracing and stuff like that, guys, I don't know, dude. This stuff is, wow. I don't know, a bit over all of our heads. So yeah, guys, we can keep chasing it. You can keep chasing it. That's cool. I don't care, man. Have fun with that. But for me, I just want to play games and not have to worry about having to upgrade my hardware all the time if I don't necessarily have to. And I want to try to help those that just don't have that financial, you know, structure to do that, to be able to save some money and still fully enjoy that experience without getting something, being overhyped to get an Nvidia card because of DLSS and ray tracing and all that, and then literally toward the end of the generation having to turn it off. Oh man, that happened to me, bro, and I freaking hated it with that 3080, and it made me mad. It made me mad having to give up all those features that I was starting to love just to yeah, dude. Oh. Yeah, so all right, guys, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.